Hello and welcome to Not Gambling Advice, the baseball and football betting stream on the Just Baseball Network. It is Monday, September 18th, and we got a loaded night slate. We got 2 Monday Night Football games. We have a whole slew of MLB picks. Now, as you guys know, I've taken a little break from betting on the MLB because NFL has been on fire. 15-6 record for your boy, up a cool 6.49 units. What I will say is, yes, I struggled this MLB season as a whole, down 10.66 units. However, we've made it almost all back in the first 2 weeks of the NFL. But it ain't over yet because we still have Monday Night Football. I'm going to go over both games. I'm going to run you through my favorite props. And then we have 10 different cappers coming on to do Monday Night Football and the loaded MLB night slate. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Peter. I'm excited to be here with you. Had a great weekend, right? Let's recap it. And it's all brought to you by the Pikkit Sports App. How about it? Folks, how about it? First of all, download that link in chat. Y'all know what to do. Don't be that guy. Chicago plus the 3. That was a tough one. Now, was it a bad beat, right? And I'm assuming producer Cohen has highlights. So we'll talk about it when it happens. Chicago Bears plus the 3 earned. Seattle Seahawks, not only did they cover the 4.5, they won outright. Atlanta Falcons money line, they won by the skin of their teeth by a point. Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow is broken. And Sunday Night Football, New England Patriots versus the Miami Dolphins. It got sweaty there. Was it a first down? Was it not? We'll talk about it. Under 46.5 bang. And how about those props? 4-0 sweep. How about us? Juwan Jennings, 14.5. How about 50-plus receiving yards? CJ Stroud, 216.5. How about 384.5 passing yards? Can I get some bangs for that one? There's one thing hitting your props. There's another thing it being no sweat. 41.5 for Waller. How about 76? Ingram, 39.5. How about 67 yards? So not only did we sweep, but they were no sweat prop bets. I'm ready to roll. Prime time, Pete, PD props. Call me whatever you want and everything would be correct. I'm ready. Let's get into the highlights. Let's see what the hell happened. So we're going to start with this game, right? Mac Jones, the milk bag. He looked okay, right? But the Patriots just continue to turn the ball over, and that's what screwed them over all season long. Now, what I will give the Pats defense credit for is they did, they held Tyreek Hill to under 50 receiving yards, and that game ended up going under, right? We got Ravens-Bengals. I mean, the Ravens just kind of ate them alive. What a catch by Zay Flowers. Well, Lamar Jackson did his thing, and Joe Burrow did not. Hard to sleep on the Ravens right now. Injured secondary and still did their job. This game came down to the final nub, right? Back and forth the entire game. What I will say is, while the Falcons did win, there are things to learn. Jordan Love is that guy. I really, really like him. I'm going to be backing the Packers probably more than I should be moving forward because I am now a believer in Jordan Love. I thought that game was incredible. I thought the defense for the Falcons was great. And at the same time, Jordan Love did his job. Okay, but we got more highlights in here. Lions Seahawks, little flea flicker. That was actually a great play. A little bit nervous here, right? But as long as we kept it within a touchdown, we were in a good position. And shout out Geno Smith. Geno Smith did right back. I'm not sure exactly what the quote was, but you and I both know what we're talking about. Little pick six. That was the first time Jared Goff's thrown interception in forever. Needed that. Seahawks take the lead, and it was never in doubt. However, it was slightly in doubt at this point because the Seahawks could have scored a touchdown, but thankfully, or the Lions could, but thankfully, Seahawks get the ball off the coin toss and win the game outright. This one was just horrible, right? Like, yes, it was a bad beat. Did they throw a pick six when we could have covered the 3, and as long as they didn't do anything horrible and we could have gone out with a push? Yes. But at the same time, why is it not a bad beat? The Bears were terrible. Justin Fields continues to prove that he cannot stand within the pocket and get the ball out quickly. He just cannot. He sits in there for what feels like 30 minutes. And then that's just an unfortunate turnover. But at the end, it didn't matter. All right. The over in the game was so free. Couldn't agree with you more. How about this? Overs 12-2. 12-1 going into Sunday Night Football. Overs went 12-2. Opposite of last week. Last week, over or unders went 12-4. You know what's funny, Cohen? Guess what overs didn't hit? The Patrick Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence over didn't hit, and the prime time over. The ones everyone expected to hit. The most publicly bet over was the Jaguars versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and that was the one that didn't hit. Another public over. Of course, the Sunday Night Football over. We took the under. We cashed 3-2 on game picks, 4-0 on props, but really 2-0 on prize picks entries, 5-2 day. But without further ado, because that was yesterday. We don't care about yesterday. We care about today. We care about winners today, right? Let's get straight into it. We'll start with football. Panthers plus the 3. If you could pull up covers.com while I'm speaking. So let's go over where the money is currently. So this is BetMGM data, okay? This is where the money currently sits at 4:36 p.m. Eastern on BetMGM. In terms of tickets, 17% of tickets are on the Carolina Panthers with 27% of the cash. 83% of bets are on the New Orleans Saints with 73% of the cash. In terms of the total, 46% of bets on the over with 47% of the handle. Coincidentally, 54% of bets on the under with 53% of the handle. On the money line, 87% of bets on the Panthers money line with 77% of the handle. 13% of bets on the Panthers money line with 23% of the handle. So the lowest amount of tickets on a game on Monday Night Football is the Panthers money line. Second is the Panthers spread. And y'all know where I'm going. Divisional home dog in primetime. But it goes a step further, right? The Steelers are a divisional home dog in primetime, but we got to pick our spots, right? The Patriots were a divisional home dog in primetime, but we got to pick our spots. What did I say when I picked the Bengals and that lost? But then again, I also said the Colts. The week 2 system is now 26-6 over the past decade. What is that system? 81% against the spread. You face a division team in week 1 and you lose. Then you face a division team in week 2. Those teams are 81% against the spread. Now, I've heard it all today. How many of those games are with a rookie quarterback? It's a good point, right? You can get with the entire world and my entire TikTok comment section and bet the Saints -3. I think that is the biggest trap line on Monday Night Football. Okay? And the system makes sense, right? You lose to a division rival. Then the next game, you're facing another one. That level of urgency is as important as any in the NFL. And this is courtesy of our guy, Anthony DeBundo. You can read his write-up on Action Network. He had a really good head coaching thing. So in week 1, teams coached by Frank Reich are terrible against the spread. Week 2, much better. 4-1 in his last 5 week 2s. The Panthers are also 3-1 straight up against the Saints since 2021. You wouldn't expect that, right? That was with Baker Mayfield at the helm, Sam Darnold at the helm. But to be fair, it was a lot of Jameis Winston for the Saints. So I'm not putting a ton of stock into the past. But what I will say is when the Panthers had Mayfield and Darnold going up against Winston, they actually went 3-1. So they can compete with the Saints. And that's important here. The Panthers know they have to win this game, and they know they can beat the Saints. I can see them bouncing back here. I don't think the Saints were that impressive, right? We were on the Titans plus the 3 against the Saints. I thought the Saints played horribly. Horribly is a big term. Not horribly, but not well. Titans had more first downs than them, but Tannehill threw 3 interceptions, and the Saints won by 1 point. They scored 16 points. Now, Derek Carr threw for over 300 yards. Makes sense. Tennessee pass, their secondary, is worse than the Panthers, right? Ranks 30th out of 32 teams. Panthers are in the low 20s. Not good, but better than the Titans, at least so far. Panthers outgained the Falcons. More first downs. But they also had 3 turnovers. And now you could say, well, of course they outgained them. They were down the entire game. They had to throw, and you would be right. However, that score is not indicative of the Falcons beating the hell out of the Panthers. And it wasn't even by that much. And it was Bryce Young's first start. I still thought he played okay. I expect the Panthers to win this game, but I think the 3 has more value here in case of a late field goal, in case of a 1.2-point win. And if the Saints win by 3, we push. I don't think the Saints deserve to be favorites of 3 or more on the road against a division rival of anybody in their division. This is one of those divisions where I don't love any of the teams outside of the Falcons. Now, the Panthers, they played a good team in the Falcons. And they still hung in there in a historically really, really bad spot for them. Okay? I took Bryce Young over 10.5. Rushing thoughts, Peter. I believe his legs will be important for success today. Couldn't agree with you more. I've just seen it a lot everywhere, right? Doesn't mean it won't get a hit. Remember, what did I say about TJ Hawkinson? I was like, love this spot, but at the same time, everybody in the world is on it. Same thing goes here. What did TJ Hawkinson do? Went over his receptions, had 2 touchdowns. I think it's a very well thought out prop, and that's why I think a lot of people are on it. I absolutely think it's a good bet there. They'll cover just like the Pats, right? I didn't bet on the Pats. I bet on the under. But here comes Big Whale Balls just talking shit over nothing. All right? Just talking shit. Did I take the Patriots? Big Whale Balls, did I? Silence. Let's get into the props. So producer Cohen has all the data uploaded on Outlier. Chuba Hubbard, over 35.5 rushing yards, and Donovan Peoples-Jones over 30.5. Now, I know Peoples-Jones has moved. It has moved because Amari Cooper is questionable to go into this game. But we're going to pull up the data on Outlier, which I highly recommend. You can DM me if you want a link for a 7-day free trial. It is paid because you get all the information that is humanly possible. Okay? So hopefully you guys can see that. Blue Whale Balls has never lost a bet in his 96-0 year to date. Yeah, he talks a lot of shit, never sees tickets, and never actually gives plays. It's a very common thing on gambling Twitter, just to talk shit, never give plays, and just sit there in your own filth. All right? Thoughts on Hurst over 3.5 receptions? Same thing. Same thing, my friend. Right? And we're going to talk about it. We're going to pull up some stats for you guys. But first, let's talk about Chuba Hubbard. First, he flew over this in his last game with only 9 carries against a better run defense in the Falcons than the Saints do. They know how to beat the Saints. How do you beat them? Run the football, right? Producer Cohen, if you could see rushing yards allowed over to your right, you see how the Saints rank 24th? Not ideal. Sanders' line is high. Don't mind Sanders at all. He's definitely going to get his touches. But Hubbard, Chuba's, hasn't adjusted yet. He's averaged 9.8 carries per game at 4.6 yards per carry. This line should be 39.5 by that math in an average game. It's at 35.5. I think Chuba Hubbard, what they're going to do, I think that Chuba's going to get 10, and I think Sanders is going to get 20. I think this game is going to be heavily influenced on the ground because I don't think they want Bryce Young making big mistakes. I think the ball's going to be quick out of his hands. I think they're going to run the ball because how do you beat the Saints? You got to run the football. And I think everybody's going to be on Sanders, and for good reason. I like him too. It's just the line is way bigger than Chuba Hubbard's. Give me Chuba Hubbard over 39.5. And as you can see on the data up there, he's gone over this plenty. This line is simply too low. Let's go to Donovan Peoples-Jones, producer Cohen. Let's go to Donovan Peoples-Jones. People. So if we click on his props. It's all right. It's all good. Will there be another channel where you have a similar stream after baseball season? Not trying to troll, but it's just baseball stream. You seem to follow football as well. Yeah, Jay Feely. So basically what we do is we do both in this stream. So when baseball ends, we are going to just do football. But right now we have 10 cappers coming on. Ollie 1 unit is in queue. He's got all baseball plays. So we're just doing both as of right now. Once baseball ends, and we're going to do it through the playoffs. Once baseball ends, then we'll just be doing football. And then when baseball starts up again, same thing. Saquon out for 3 weeks. Adam Schefter nugget, not ideal. Hammering Cole Strange over a half yards next Pats game. That's a good one. Okay. And as you guys can all see, Blue Big Whale Balls has not said a word since then. Interesting. Okay. Another line that is too low because he only had 12 yards in game one. What does he normally do? What's an average game for Donovan Peoples-Jones? 3.6 catches at 12.4 yards per catch. What is that math? It's anywhere from 36 to 42 yards. He went over this the last time Watson faced the Steelers. So we have precedent. We have history here. And Watson, he only threw for 154 yards last game. That's why a lot of guys went under their total. Now, we saw him go up because of Amari Cooper being questionable in this game. I bet him assuming Amari Cooper would play. But without Amari Cooper, it's obviously much more tempting. I would play this 34.5. I truly think the line should be 36.5 for this game. And what is it on Prize Picks right now? And it was raining in that game. Another great point. 154 yards in the rain. Peoples-Jones only had 2 targets. Let's see what he is right now. Peoples, 34.5 on Prize Picks. Well playable. I would take it up to 36.5. So that's what I'm doing here, folks. I'm pairing Chuba Hubbard with Donovan Peoples-Jones, 0.25 units to win 0.5 units at plus 200. Always love me some DPJ. That's because Capwise Nick knows ball. Least shocking thing that's ever been in the live. Capwise Nick knows ball. Let's go to, before we get to Ollie, I just want to do a quick overview of Steelers Browns. So I don't have a pick on this game. This game put my mind in a pretzel. I think the Browns win this one. I think the public hits on this one. I don't think that both home underdogs cover. However, I don't have the stones to fade Mike Tomlin off a loss as an underdog at home. Those trends tell us that Mike Tomlin and the Steelers are the spot here. Also, like I said with BetMGM, 75% of bets, 77% of the money is on the Browns. So you have Mike Tomlin on your side. You have a home underdog in primetime divisional team. Steelers feels like the play that you should make. However, I disagree. Now, sometimes this bites me in the ass, right? What did I say with that week 2 trend where now I'm on the Panthers? I took the Bengals, didn't take the Colts. Colts won, Bengals lost. So maybe, but what I have to do is I have to look at the game and make the picks for myself, whether the systems say or not. And I think the Browns are better than the Steelers on basically every single side of the ball, outside of head coach. That's the advantage for the Steelers and home field advantage. That's really it. Deshaun Watson over Kenny Pickett, Nick Chubb over Najee Harris. I like the Browns receivers as much as the Steelers receivers, maybe more. I think the Browns have a better defense, defensive line, you name it. Okay? I think the Browns are the better team. It's a good bounce back spot for the Steelers, right? Browns beat the Bengals. And for the total, in terms of a handle, 75% of the handles on this under. I can't take the under, even though I lean the under. I lean the under in the Browns. However, I'm not playing on either of them. Just want to let you know where my head's at. The Steelers should be the play. And you could say, well, Peter, aren't you saying that about the Saints and the Panthers? I don't think the Saints are that good. I don't. I was high on them preseason, watching them play, and I know it's week 1. I wasn't that high on them. I'm very high on the Browns. That's where it comes into play. I think the Panthers and the Saints, anybody can win that game. Browns, Steelers, the Browns should win this game. That's where I'm at. Is it time to talk to Ollie 1 Unit? Holy shit, it's time to talk to Ollie 1 Unit. Ollie 1 Unit, we did a lot of football. But you're the hottest bettor on planet Earth. And you're smacking NFL plays.
Maybe.
Twitter, people need to follow you on Twitter. First of all, you're play smack, but second of all, you make me laugh every single day with the way you post your bets. You're a top follow for me. You're up there for me.
I mean, that's what I'm here for.
You're an elite content creator.
That's kind of the angle I like to go about it. I'm by no means an expert in anything, but when you're hot, you're hot. You're going to let people know about it, and big
The
day
reason
yesterday.
I like you is you're not letting people know about it in like a sarcastic, dickish way. You still make it funny, but at the end of the day, you're still hot and you talk your shit. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm in the gutter hitting 40% for a month, I'm also going to let people know about that, and that's when the interactions are low, maybe deservedly so. But when people like green, so they like literally the tweets that are green, never the ones that are red, always the ones that are green. We had a lot of green yesterday. We've had a lot of green this month. We've had a lot of green last month, so we're feeling good.
And producer Cohen, can you flash that MLB leaderboard? Who's that at the
do
top?
that.
Who the hell is that
That's
at
right.
the top? Ollie, 1 unit.
That's right.
Can we get some W?
They said it couldn't be done,
please? And
they said it could not be done.
They said it could not be done. When everyone's hammering 3-unit plays, 2-unit plays, you're like, you know what? The turtle wins the race. And you were doing half unit, and you just kept building and building and building. And then you even did your 1.5 unit play. Biggest I've ever seen from you on stream.
Yep.
And guess what? It's smacked because the guy's hot. It gets hot.
Yeah. Honestly, was nervous because it was like 0-0 after 4 innings with 1 hit combined. I was like, well, plums are wrong. And then they came.
You're hot.
And then they came. When you're hot, things like that happens.
But that's why you took the full game over, right? You didn't take first 5.
Yeah, first 5 totals have not been good to me this year, just in general. There's been a few first 5 unders, like Mitch Keller starts. First 5 unders have been pretty good. But a lot of them feel too good to be true, and oftentimes are. So I just stay away from them.
Pick number 1. What do we got?
Runs over there in Cincinnati. Not too much analysis to the plays these days, Peter. I'm not loading up Fangraphs every day. I'm not loading up Baseball Savant every day. I'm looking at the board, and if something jumps out to me, I'm going to say, yeah, I like that. And today, I like it. Joe Ryan's all right, in my opinion. People can bring up the metrics behind it or whatnot. And then on the flip side, I kind of think the Twins bats get to a bad Reds bullpen outside of our friend Alexis Diaz. And honestly, when I looked, it was Connor Phillips starting. I don't know if he still is. But to me,
Connor Phillips is going to pitch. I don't know if it's going to be an opener, but he's
like
pitching
the bulk
today.
Yeah. He'll probably go 3 or 4 innings. Like, will he be good long term? Yeah, I think so. But he's had a rough start here to his young career in times where they actually need good, legit innings in the middle of a pennant race. I just don't know. Pennant race, wild playoff berth race. I guess pennant is a long shot at this point, but whatever. Anyways, I kind of just think that the bats get rolling for the Reds off Joe Ryan, and the Twins come to town and start hitting bombs because that's what they do. They still, when the Twins are hot, they hit bombs. Julian Kepler, Royce Lewis, if the bases are loaded, like those guys are going to do some damage, I think, today.
Good shit. Also, great nickname for you in the chat from Catboys Knicks. Ollie One Turtle.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever
works. I'm indifferent.
He hates it. Let's get to play number 2.
I'm going to ride the fish until they stop.
Fair.
That's all this is. I thought they were dead. I bet against them against the Brewers a couple times last week. They showed heart. They showed grit. And then they came over. They came home, and what did they do, Peter? They swept the best team in baseball. Easily.
36-13.
Easily, might I add. Like, in their sleep, just absolutely fucking stomped on their face. So now they have a team that is actually dead coming into town, and another team in that wild card race. So this week, at least in this Mets series, I think I'm just going to run the fish, either money line or run line, depending on the price. I like the starting pitcher out there for Miami. It's Edward Cabrera today, right? Yeah, I believe it is. It was him or Perez. I get him often confused, but I do believe it's Edward Cabrera, who was the piece in the Justin Turner trade that Heimblum never pulled off because they backed out, deservedly so. If Edward Cabrera has his control, a massive, huge if Edward Cabrera has his control, he will dominate the Mets. If he doesn't, the Mets can be patient and do some damage. But I'm going to take a chance here. The bats stay hot, more importantly than anything.
I have a couple questions for you about the Red Sox. The GM thing. We'll continue part 2 of our argument, but let's get to play number 3 first.
That's it.
That's it.
I got
Perfect.
two,
Now
yeah.
I can ask you now.
Okay.
So I'm getting a little bit confused from Red Sox Twitter. I'm getting a little bit confused.
It's a gross place to go to right now.
Can I just tell you why I'm confused? So Chaim Bloom is a great general manager who you guys shouldn't have let go. But then at the same time, they're saying, well, now we can get all of the big free agents.
Yeah.
Explain that for me.
Well, there's the quote-unquote Bloominati out there that'll defend Chaim Bloom until death do us part. I don't think I'm that far in Chaim Bloom's defensive, in his defense. But I know he has flaws. I know he doesn't necessarily spend the money and make acquisitions the way we are used to over here in Boston.
Like good GMs, yeah.
Right, but what has he done that has been excellent? He's been a fantastic drafter. He's been a great player developer. He's been really good at those kind of off the radar signings and those weird trades. Like everybody criticizes him for trading Hunter Renfroe for Jackie Bradley and 2 prospects, while Hunter Renfroe's been on 17 teams since that trade. So like criticizing that trade doesn't really make sense to me when you bring in Adam Duvall a year later who does the exact same thing, maybe better. But Red Sox Twitter in general just can't make up their mind. They never will. They're always split. Half of them are rooting against the Red Sox just because they want to be right about the Red Sox. Those people make no sense to me. I just want what's best for them. I just want them to win. I want them to be competitive. I don't really care how they do it. But multi-billionaire owners cheaping out and becoming a middle of the payroll team is kind of weird when they make it. Like I said, he owns like 7 freaking teams, and now he decides to cheap out, get under the tax, and now they're gonna reload. I think the last time we talked was like the day of or the day after it happened, and
it was day of.
I've had a little bit of time to reflect, and my coming to light moment was ownership and Sam Kennedy, who's part of the ownership group. They don't think Chaim Bloom is the right guy to go and make a trade and spend the money appropriately, because that's what they're ready to do. But they're like, from what we've seen, we just don't trust it. They probably view Trevor Story as a bad contract. They probably view Yoshida as a bad contract. But then I'll say, okay, he went and signed Justin Turner, who's had a career year. Chris Martin, who's put up the best Red Sox reliever season since Koji. Kenley Jansen, who's had a solid year, not all-star, like not unbelievable, but a solid year. Like, but when it comes to big contracts, are they going to sign? Are they going to trust him to go spend in the right spot? Are they going to? I don't know. So that's my conclusion, is that they just don't trust him to make the big moves. And are they right? Maybe. I don't know. We never will know.
And that's why I think, if you can understand where I'm coming from, me thinking he's not a very good GM, because the bottom line is, in his 4 years with the Red Sox, they finished in last 3 times, and they made a big surprise and went on a run in the ALCS. But his overall record with the Red Sox is 267 and 262. He's very good at the player development part. He's a very good scout. And that's probably what he should be. But a part of the GM's job is to be able to identify major league talent and to be able to sign them to big deals. So while Chaim Bloom was brought in, they knew that he would revamp the farm system, and they were hoping that he would be able to add a lot of big league talent and use that ability to scout young players, put it in the major leagues, and be able to make the right moves. I think we learned over 4 years he's best suited in finding the diamonds in the rough. What I will give him credit for, I think he had the steal of the draft. Kyle Teal out of the University of Virginia, the catcher, is off to a phenomenal start. We just talked about the Just Baseball show. I still think the A's, while Jacob Wilson has been good, I think the A's could have grabbed him at 6, and I thought it would be a good pick. Yeah. The Red Sox got him at 14. He's been very good drafting. Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony, you name him. But at the end of the day, he gets credit for guys who he didn't bring in. He was not a Bayo guy. He was not a Casas guy. Nope. So it's like the farm system is in a better spot, but that's 1/3 of 2/3 or 3/3 of the job. That's why I was steadfast and like, do I agree that the Red Sox need a completely new GM? Because I don't know who they bring in who helps them do that.
That's the
Because
thing.
they got rid of Cherington, they got rid of Dombrowski. All of them had about 1,400 days of service time with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're doing, but I do
either.
agree with the notion that Chaim Bloom is not a very good general manager.
What? 2020 doesn't count. Who cares about that year? That he came in, his manager got fired in 2 months. Alex Cora got.
He's going to finish last in 3 of the 4 years he was there.
Maybe
the Boston Red Sox.
Okay, I understand that. But other people finished last. Like Dave Dombrowski finished last, but then he rattled off 3 straight first places. Like
3 straight.
Ben
in the
Cherington
same amount of service time.
But
that's what I'm saying. Those guys were better.
I think we're going to look back and say Chaim Bloom and Ben Cherington were very, very similar because Ben Cherington really did a lot to set up for Dave Dombrowski, just the same way that whoever follows him. And that's my biggest concern is they kind of had an idea of what direction and who they wanted to go after Dombrowski. And now after Chaim Bloom, it's just like there's no chatter, there's no leads, there's no interviews. Like, where do you go? You can't go get Dave Dombrowski again if you didn't know that. You're not going to go get Theo Epstein again like some delusional Red Sox fans want. Like, I don't really trust Mike Hazen to come in and spend money in a reunion there. Like,
how about you and I? We could do it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you have to do this offseason? Just go to Ohtani and Yamamoto and say, blank check, please. It can't be that hard, right?
I actually would give Yamamoto so many millions.
So many millions. Yeah, I agree.
But look what Kodai Senga has done for the Mets. $75 million. Like that on the open market right now. Like Aaron Nola is going to get double that. And I'd rather have Senga right now.
Yeah, he's a stud. And this guy is better than Senga. And he's going to get paid and younger. There'll probably be an arm injury there in his career at some point, but that's pitchers these days. What are you going to do? You take that with a grain of salt.
If Sandy gets hurt, they're all going to get hurt. You know the one, and that's why I think this isn't biased. This is what I truly think. When you make a top pitchers in the league list, I think you got to put Garrett Cole at 1. It's a durability.
Yeah.
Every fifth day, it's just he's going to give you 200 innings, 250 strikeouts, and an ERA below 3. As long as he doesn't give up home runs, it's just a guy you can most trust, and I think that's the most important in this day and age of baseball. Durability. He's the unicorn when it comes to that.
Best ability is availability. However, Garrett Cole's 31?
Yep.
Could be coming.
Hate
to say it, but
I'm just saying right now.
Look at a guy like Chris Sale. Up until he was 31, he was that guy every fifth day. Boom, boom, boom. But
couldn't agree with you more.
Everybody knew.
It could come.
Everybody knew
right now as we're talking today.
Okay. Yeah.
If you were like, Ollie, I'm going to give you first pick out of the pitchers for 2023, who would you pick?
Probably Nick Pivetta, but Garrett Cole will be right there.
That's fair. All right, we're going to move on to mid-major.
It's him or Corbin Burns.
Number 1 on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Number 1 on the leaderboard. Don't forget it. He might be going to the World Series. Unless mid-major Matt has anything to say about it. Who's up next?
He could. All right. Good luck.
All right. Mid-major Matt. What's up, brother? We got football and baseball today. Just baseball, just football. What are we thinking?
Give me both. Give me. I got to fucking bet on 2 things today. MLB and NFL. Love it.
Dual sport athlete. Let's start with baseball.
Absolutely. I mean, the board is just awful today, Peter. I don't know if I couldn't find anything I liked, honestly.
I'm taking a break from betting on baseball. I'm taking at least a week break, and I'm on day 5 of 7, so that's where I'm at right now.
I mean, luckily you've had NFL to bet on, so you did well. I believe this weekend, correct? You've done well, so good. I mean that suppresses the urge to be right when you gamble on something, then you're correct. But this play, the White Sox have one of the worst offenses in the league. Even with all those names on it. They just cannot hit a fastball.
Nope.
No matter what, they just cannot hit a fastball. As bad as Joan Adon, I don't know exactly how you pronounce his name, Joan Adon, as bad as he is, he has a decent fastball, and I just think he spams fastballs today. And that White Sox offense that's done nothing against right-handed pitchers on the road all season, I think that trend just continues. Same thing with Mike Clevenger. He throws a heavy fastball, heavy slider combo. That, again, the Washington Nationals cannot hit a slider to save their life. They're decent at hitting fastballs, but they're still not good at it. 6 runs is a lot to lose this bet. And I think why this opened up at the over so high, because, again, the 2 of the worst bullpens in the league. So I don't know if you could put it any lower with these two pitchers on the mound. But what I'm liking is I'm seeing more money, at least from Pickett, money on the over. But it's now at 9 on BetMGM, I believe. I think it's a minus 105 to the under. I like that. And then Clevenger's props have gone up. His outs recorded have been bumped to 17.5. His earned runs allowed is now juiced to lower than it was when it opened. So I think they both pitch okay today. And I don't think we see 6 runs in the first 5 innings. Just two really bad offenses, Peter.
This is a really good pitch and a really good bat. I'm excited for this one, actually,
Two
which is
really
funny
bad
because it's
offenses.
White Sox Nats, but at the same time, that line is too high.
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree with your analysis more.
Yeah, I think if we see runs, it's going to come late.
Let's keep it moving. What else we got? Oh, now we're doing the football Browns money line.
Yeah. So again, Peter, I lost my Chargers bet on Mike Vrabel at home. You know, people blindly bet Mike Vrabel, which is fair enough. I lost my money. They won money. Congratulations. I did not fall for the trap in prime time where everyone bought fucking Bill Belichick at home, getting plus money as a dog. They didn't have a they. I don't care what it looked like. They were never really close for that game for 40 minutes.
They from the opening, from the coin toss, it was over.
I mean, the Dolphins ran. They ran the ball fucking for 150 yards.
Raheem Mostert ate them alive.
Yeah. That being said, I had the Jets last week as a primetime home dog. I'm sure a lot of people had the Bills. We had some contrary picks on here. I'm not following them again today. You know, a lot of smart people, and I feel like, are on the Panthers today, including yourself, which I get the reasoning for. I do not think that 2 home dogs in prime time hit. And if everyone's trying to go off the trend of primetime home dog, 99% of those people are going to pick Tomlin at home as opposed to a rookie quarterback making his debut in primetime. So I'm inclined to think that Tomlin and the Steelers is the one to shit the bed against the Browns, and the defensive line, again, it was top 3 in my opinion. I know. So D-Den, this is a good way to look at a lot of bets, is for baseball specifically. If you see the same pitch at Arsenal 2 days in a row, even if you didn't do anything the first time against it, you're more inclined to believe you'll be better the second time around, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
And when I was talking to DJ about this on his stream, the Browns have a very, very similar defense to the Niners, which just absolutely demolished the Steelers. I'm well aware, obviously. Yeah. But the defensive line of the Browns is going to eat the offensive line of the Steelers alive.
Yep.
Alive. And I don't know how much higher you can make this line. Obviously, the books don't want to go to 3 because that's a lot. It'll bring a lot of money on the Steelers. But I don't think I don't think this is necessarily close. I really don't. The Steelers defense got exposed last week with how bad they are against the run. And the biggest piece of information today is that Cam Hayward's not playing. One of the best run defenders in the league. And we saw the Browns in the monsoon when Deshaun Watson couldn't throw the ball. We saw Nick Chubb average 6 yards a carry in a monsoon when they knew they were going to run the ball. Now, I know the Browns don't have Jack Conklin, but without Cam Hayward, I don't know how they're going to stop this Browns offense.
Kind of nullifies, right?
Yeah,
no Cam Hayward,
yeah, absolutely.
No Jack Conklin, yeah.
But you still have behind that, you have Nick Chubb, who, in my opinion, is the best pure runner with the ball in his hands.
Oh, I agree.
Just with his age, I think Derrick Henry he's getting a little up there. He's losing some explosiveness.
I'd go Chubb. Or honestly, you got to give credit to McCaffrey. I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah. He's fucking.
But
Chubb, as small as he is,
Chubb is a pure runner in between the tackles. I think is the best in the NFL.
I think I take him number 1 if I need to get 3 yards between the tackles. Up the gut. So I don't know how the Steelers. I'm sorry.
And he's getting you 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's not going to be a booth review like Mac Jones and the Patriots last night. Anyways, the Browns, I think they dominate this game, man. I really do. No one likes the Browns. Everyone hates Deshaun Watson as a person, and I get it. But no one likes Kevin Stefanski. They were sharp to go over their win total last year, and they shit the bed. So why not? Why would people go back to him this year? And again, last year, I had the Steelers win total under. Kenny Pickett came in the end of last year, played 8 games. He went 6-2. He did really well. So that regression for Kenny Pickett just as a passer is probably coming now. And I think that Browns defense just eats him alive. It's Browns all the way, baby.
I didn't bet on the Browns, but I had the same thought.
Yeah.
Both of these are not going to win. I personally think the Panthers and the Saints are the Panthers worse, yes. But at home, Panthers and Saints, that's one of those games where any team can win. I cannot find an area that the Steelers have over the Browns except for their head coach. and just
It's
being
just
at home.
Tomlin at home getting points. That's the only reason people are betting
he's
it.
always going to get line respect. Always. Like the
Absolutely.
Patriots.
Just like Belichick.
The Patriots will be sharp every week. Everyone is going to be like, oh, the Patriots
Because
line
the
is
head
sharp.
coach.
They're always do. It's just how it is.
We
Frank
can
Reich and Bryce Young getting line respect, that tells me the Panthers are the right side. And at the same time, I didn't bet the Browns, but I sure as shit didn't bet the Steelers.
I did want to find a way to bet the Panthers. If I was going to, it would be the Saints total team under because I want to like their defense. It's still hard for me to trust a rookie quarterback in prime time at home, making his debut, of course. But
fair.
I do have a prize picks which touches on your game a little bit, and I think it correlates with your thinking on the Panthers, in my opinion. I'm on my phone. I'm sorry. What's the first leg?
We're looking at Jamal Williams over rushing yards.
Yeah. So he did not do well last week. He played pretty subpar, per expectation. He was a below graded runner.
2.9 yards per carry.
Yes. Again, context. The Titans have one of the better front sevens in the league. They have a heavy defensive line, and they did not have a lot of open looks. The Panthers, even though they have a great pass rush, some reason they got abused on the ground last week when Desmond Ridder could not throw a ball. So I think Jamal Williams gets his. What am I looking at?
Oh no, this is just the data on him. We're showing people like how many times he's gone over this. We're using outlier data. I think it's pretty damn cool. So just keep talking. It's just this is the data behind the last 10. And
So Jamal Williams, he did not perform well last week. No one wants to start him in fantasy, and yet he has a higher over under, and he's juiced to the over this week, which is really interesting to me. So I like that. Second leg, it's gonna be what's that?
Derek Carr over passing or under passing yards.
Under passing yards. So what I did find last week, the Panthers have a really good pass rush with Brian Burns. I like it a lot. I don't like J.C. Horn being out, but what I do like is with that information,
Brian Burns, Carr, I don't think is playing. I think he's still holding out.
Is he? Fuck. I mean, with that being said, they still sacked Tannehill three times and pressured him on.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. No, we're just having a conversation. No worries. They still had the highest pressure percent in the NFL last week without their best pass rusher. I like that. And against the Saints offensive line, which is still gelling together, and a new quarterback making his debut on the road with this new system in a division game, I like that. Perhaps after throwing 300 yards last week, he's now at 231. And with J.C. Horn being out, I don't think he has a great day today. And Derek Carr.
And last leg.
I can't see this one either.
Bryce Young over 28.5 passing attempts.
Yeah, so the Saints defense, I do like the rush defense. I don't like the secondary still. We saw Ryan Tannehill kind of, if he did not play like a pumpkin last week, the Titans, I think, easily win that game. With tonight, with the line respect that the books are giving Bryce Young, not Peter Apple, not Matthew, not Javon, not Degen, that every single sports book is giving the Panthers, who played like shit last week, that they're giving him. I think Bryce Young has a fairly decent day today. I don't know if he completes his passes, but I know he's going to pass a lot. For sure. I know that. And if we expect them to be down, which, again, we all do, he's going to pass the ball because they're not a great running team.
I don't expect them to be down. That's the problem with this play is that they're going to win by 60. No, I'm just kidding. Is Brian Burns – is he
I did
playing?
fuck it up. I do have a call on it.
I assumed he wasn't playing, but if he does, that's just another leg up for us.
Yeah, so again, you can argue the two best defenders are out, and they still won't get off of 3. The books will move off of 3 if they respect the money coming in. They don't respect the money coming in. They're staying steady on 3, and I like that. And if you on the Panthers straight up at +3, I like that. And that's if you were to take a stand on prime time, I'd rather be on the book side as opposed to the opposing side. And they're making the stand on 3, and they're telling you that.
Well, if Burns is playing, I like it even more. Mid-major, appreciate your time, my friend. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
I better. Till next time.
Right. Before we welcome on to Jen, I got to answer this question from Choked 3. First of all, this hits deep in my heart, and this is why I'm answering this question, because how dare you? I don't give a shit about baseball. I can't even believe you would say that. From a picks perspective, I'm taking a week off because I've been losing. I'm not going to bet on a sport that I haven't figured out this season. I'm the host of the Just Baseball Show. I make daily MLB content on TikTok. I make more baseball content than I do football. As of right now, as a bettor, we have to go with what works. Do you want me to give picks to lose them when I'm not as confident as the football? Right? We're 15-6 in the NFL. We're down 10.66 units in the MLB. I've almost made that back for you in 2 weeks. That hurts because I love baseball. I love baseball more than 99.99999% of the planet. We started a baseball media company. I love baseball. But money is green. And I want to bet and give out picks of places I'm more confident in, which I think is reasonable and understandable. So if you say that I'm giving up on baseball, don't ever say that. Don't ever say that from a betting perspective for the last week.
Oh, are you done talking? That's all I heard.
Oh, really? That's all you heard? That's all you heard? Is this coming from the guy who is an NFL capper and didn't choose a side in either game or a total? Because you're a little bit scared?
Tonight?
Yeah, tonight.
Dude. Yes, but I think I have a really good reason.
Oh, you do? Well, let's hear it.
Yeah, and I think this happened last week, and the leans that I had would have both lost. And sometimes the best bets are the ones you don't make.
That's a good point. Let's just get a beer, and I'm sure America's Got Talent is on. Just keep it safe.
I got 6 fucking prop bets in, Peter. What do you want from me? Okay, what do you want from me?
I'm glad.
No, but I think there's a good argument to be had for both sides. I truly do. I heard Mid-Major Matt. I think the contrarian play could very well get me on board with the Panthers. And I agree with what he's saying about the line resistance and not going to 3.5 makes perfect sense to me. However, 3 is a pretty key number, and it's a primetime divisional game. So dogs tend to do pretty well there. 2.5 would be more suspicious to me. You know what I mean? And I believe the look ahead was 2 or 2.5, and they did at least move it to 3 and juiced it to the Saints.
Look ahead was 3.5.
Are you 100% sure on that?
Yeah, that's what because I bet the Panthers under win total. That's what I saw when I was going through their schedule.
Okay, then fair enough. I will.
I cannot guarantee that 100%. What I can guarantee 100% is that's what I think I saw when I was going through the under 7.5.
No, that's fine. I'm not going to die on that hill. But I think that I'm just going to stick to what I told myself about the Panthers with that under win total. If you're going to fade them, you fade them early in the season because of Frank Reich and not being familiar with young quarterbacks and his record typically through weeks 1 through 5.
No, that's funny. Anthony DiBundo, Frank Reich's team in his last 5 week 2 games, 4-1 against the spread. It's week 1 where he's a literal trash can.
Oh yeah, he's 0-5. But weeks 1 through 5, I want to say he's 10, 15-1. So he's just not good early in the year.
Week 2.
Yeah, a lot of it comes in week 2. However, I'm still not ready to buy Bryce Young yet. I'll hold off. I don't want the points. And yeah, I'm going to be, God damn it, I already got chirped for going 0-4 Sunday by Flash the Dawn. Flash the Dawn was nowhere to be found. I went 7-1 on week 1.
It's classic. I mean, that's
great.
That's how these people are.
I posted my card yesterday. I went 0-4. It got 90,000 views. I've been getting I've been fighting off the goddamn burner accounts all day. It's actually kind of fun.
Oh yeah. If you look at my TikTok, so I posted 1 TikTok of my NFL picks. Yeah. I posted 3 videos. Sunday Night Football, props, 1 p.m., 4 p.m. games. 1 p.m., 4 p.m. games got the most amount of views. I went 2-2. Props swept, hit the Sunday Night Football play. The one that got the most views was the one I went 2-2 on, and people chirping me about the Bengals. But just that's how people are in betting. They would rather see you lose.
Yeah. You know what, though? Thankfully, I feel like we have thick skin.
What do you mean by these people, Big Well Balls? You. That's what I mean.
Oh, that's very funny. Oh, also Flashton said it's just banter. Yeah, that's okay. I'm all for it, honestly, because the thing is, at least if you manage your bankroll and you bet responsibly, the losses and the beats are just become valuable lessons and good memories. And I mean, I don't know if you bet college football, but I've had some really tough dick kickings in college football from last-minute touchdowns. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about plays. But it is fun. I could talk about all things sports betting all day, all night. So I'm not playing a side or total. If you wanted to take both dogs, that's okay with me. But I am the type of person that thinks in a short slate, I think it goes 1-1, and I don't know which one to pick. But gun to my head, I'm probably going with the Steelers. I have a fun fact to you, by the way, Peter. You probably don't know this. Dogs since 2018, after a 20-plus point loss, do you know what they're hitting at? 62%. And that is obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers. So
you want that is a trend.
You want to hear what?
You want to hear a Panthers trend?
Sure.
So week 2 is specific to week 2 since 2010.
Why do you hate stats like that? Why do people hate stats like that? Bro, professional sports bettors legitimately blindly bet thousands of dollars. And no, that wasn't on ESPN. What is wrong with people? They don't like to learn. They don't like trends.
We're talking to
Go ahead. Sorry,
there's
Peter.
about 100 people in here now. There's 2 people who don't like it. 98 people I think are here to listen. Those 2 people can suck it.
Yeah, go
this
ahead.
Trend in week 2, if you face a division team in week 1 and you lose, and you face a division team again in week 2, those teams are 26-6 against the spread.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
81%. That only applies to the Carolina Panthers. We saw 2 of those instances on Sunday already. It's not perfect. There's a reason it's not 100%. Bengals were one of them, and they lost to the Ravens. Colts were the other one, and they steamrolled the Texans. Right? So now we have the Panthers. But it's not like there's trends like that one for the Steelers. That sounds awesome. Like I bet the Bengals and didn't bet the Colts. So I don't blindly tail those either. When a trend works in your direction, it might lead you somewhere, and then you look into the football side, and then you like the football side, and that's when you bet it. That's what trends can be helpful for. So people chirping trends like, oh, where'd you hear that? Like, you're going to lose if you don't pay attention to these things, because the NFL is not only a parody sport, history repeats itself. So if you can know history of the NFL, you will be more profitable. Like, you can either believe me or you don't have to believe me. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we win in football. I'm 15-6. You're also having a good. I bet you're up, even though you went 0-4. Like, you can believe or you don't have to believe.
Let's get to my plays because my time's running out. I feel like I'm in fucking Congress right now. Funny Capwise Nick Nugget, by the way. Anyways, I'll give you my four props right off the bat. But yes, I like trends. Some of them are not useful. Let's start with Adam Thielen. 2.5. The only guy on FanDuel with his over receptions juiced. He had 2 catches for 12 yards in week 1 in Atlanta. Bryce Young, obviously first start on the road. I think the Falcons defense is better than people give them credit for. I also think the Saints defense is pretty damn good. Held the Titans to 5 field goals. But I think that in prime time, Bryce Young's first game at home, I think you got to lean on the veterans here. So are they going to be able to run the ball? I don't know. I'm not anti-Miles Sanders. I think you might be. But I don't know that they're going to have a ton of success running the ball, especially if the Saints are going to be winning this game, which, again, I don't have a strong lean either way. But I would side with the Saints maybe having a lead. So I don't know that they're going to rely on Bryce Young to throw the ball a ton of times. However, he's going to have to pass. And I think if he does, he's going to be getting the ball out quick. The offensive line's not great, from what I understand. So I know it's early in the season, but I think he's going to find Adam Thielen more than 2 times tonight. So over 2.5 minus 130. I have all these straight, by the way. I at least try to pride myself on whatever I'm pitching here, I bet. So I'm not just giving you shit that I'm like half-assing. But obviously, for the sake of this contest, it's a Prize Picks entry. Okay, next one. Let's keep it in the same game. Jamal Williams. So kind of on the flip side here, again, thinking that the Saints are going to be in the lead in this game, I think that they're going to want to win this game. Why is this fucking slip covering my face, by the way, producer Cohen? Can you get it anywhere else? I got to go all the way over here to fucking get it in.
He's trying to pick up all the data for you, and all you're concerned about is just showing off that face of yours. People don't care about your face. People care about the picks.
Do you think it's strange, and I'm not trying to super read into the line in here for this bet, okay? I think there's some football logic as well. But do you think it's strange that Jamal Williams, who averaged 2.5 yards a carry against the Titans at home last week, I think he had 45 yards rushing. His line now is 57.5, and the juice has crept up from minus 110 to, I believe somebody just told me about 30 minutes ago, it's minus 140. I think that's a little strange. Also, this is a Panthers defense. Yes, the Falcons had a couple guys that averaged 5 yards per carry, but the Falcons run the football. That's not really a fair comparison. The Panthers defense held the Falcons to 13 first downs and 230 total yards. The same Falcons offense that just had 27 first downs against the Packers and put up 400 plus yards. It's a pretty good defense. I respect the Panthers defense, which is honestly one of the biggest reasons I'm not on the Saints. My favorite bet in this game is the under. I don't think Derek Carr, first game on primetime on the road against a divisional opponent, is going to go out there and light it up. I truly don't. And I respect the Panthers defense enough to at least not want to bet on points, but I'm going to bet on methodical drives and the Saints still moving the ball. And I think they do that on the ground. I think they're going to feed Jamal Williams, and I think he's going to have probably at least 20 carries. Give me over 57.5 yards.
Love the bet. Think it's going to hit. Don't think the line is weird. And I think you kind of answered your own question. He went up against one of the best run defenses in the NFL last week. And now he faces a lesser offense when we know at least we saw the touches. He's going to be the bell cow. So I don't think that it's a crazy line. However, that was just answering, do you think that's a weird line? I don't think it is, but I also think he's going to go over. So that's, I guess, would be my point. Do I think it's a weird line? No. Do I think he goes over? Yes.
Coop Eagle, why not take the rush attempts then? Honestly, probably a better bet. I'm okay with either. I just like the yards. I honestly think he really breaks one. So I even thought about taking longest rush. All right, I'll try to be quick. 2 more. That's it for the Panthers game. Steelers and Browns. Again, I'm not. If I had to make a play on this game, it's probably the over. I think we might see some points. I think Mid-Major Matt makes a great point on all fronts for wanting to bet the Browns. They're a similar team to the Niners. I just think you don't really see the same outcome happen against a similar type of opponent. Mike Tomlin's a good enough coach. I think they're going to make some adjustments. I think the offense is going to score a handful of times in this game. So I'm going to be on Kenny Pickett actually for a over. I think it's 12.5 or 13.5. What did I get it on Prize Picks? Do you know? Put the fucking logo back up.
13.
Okay, it's 12.5 on FanDuel if anybody does want to play it. He only had 1 rush for 4 yards against the Niners defense. I think tonight, Myles Garrett, obviously these guys are going to be fucking breathing down his neck. But I think what's going to have to happen here, because they only scored 1 touchdown and Kenny Pickett threw the ball a ton of times, I think like 41 times or something. I think he's going to have to be more of a threat with his legs to open up the passing game, especially down Deontay Johnson. So that's really all I got for the X's and O's of this. I don't necessarily think 12.5 is weird after he only had 4 rushing yards. For example, like Derek Carr has a 3.5 rushing yard line, but Kenny Pickett is a guy that can use his legs. I think he's going to have 20. I think he's going to have 20 rushing yards in this game, probably a handful of attempts. So I'm on that. And then the guy I'm on for the Browns is Elijah Moore over receiving yards. My first prop of the season was Brandon Ayuk over receptions. And this had nothing to do with Brandon Ayuk. It had everything to do with Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson, in my opinion, was one of the worst cornerbacks I saw in the NFL last season, on the worst pass defense maybe I've ever seen in the Minnesota Vikings last season. When I was doing my offseason research and I saw that Patrick Peterson was starting for the Steelers, I legitimately almost wanted to fade them for that reason and that reason alone. Because I got Joey Porter Jr. on the opposite side, who I really like, but he's a young guy. So I get it. You want to bring in a vet, but he's slow as molasses. He can't stop anything. So I told myself, Ayuk had a fucking day. He scored 2 touchdowns. This has nothing to do with Elijah Moore. I hope that he's guarding, Patrick Peterson's guarding him. But I'm going to keep fading Patrick Peterson until he gives me a reason not to. So give me more over, I think it was 41.5 or 40.5 yards.
Surgical, Jen. Phenomenal. Great pitches. Loved all of them. Have no feedback for you other than I'm excited.
Great. And what are you on tonight? You're on the Panthers and what else?
Panthers plus the 3. And then I took a Prize Picks entry. I have Donovan Peoples-Jones over 30.5. So not taking Elijah Moore, taking Peoples-Jones instead, and then Chuba Hubbard over 35.5 rushing yards. I think the way to beat the Saints is on the ground, and I don't think in prime time they want to give Bryce Young so many passing attempts. So I think Miles Sanders is going to get his 16 to 18 carries, and Chuba Hubbard's going to get his 10. I don't think they've adjusted to Chuba Hubbard yet, who averaged 6.7 yards per carry. I'm taking his over rushing to pair it with Peoples-Jones.
My only concern with that is if you're the Saints and they have an experienced coaching staff is you've got to tell yourself we are forcing Bryce Young to beat us.
Fair enough. And then
That's the
if he
only
can make
reason.
some quick passes, then they have to respect. Then they run the ball again, and they're just going to have to run the ball anyway.
Yeah, and I don't hate it. I'm not anti Miles Sanders like most people are, so I'm okay with it. Panthers are going to be an interesting team if they can figure out any sort of success on offense, because watch that defense. I think they're much better than people are giving them any credit for. So, all right, I think that's my time, Peter.
That's your time. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow. MLB.
I'll be here tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow. All right, have a good night.
See ya. Colby Olsen. Tough day on Sunday.
Oh, dude, more than tough. Jeez.
But we're gonna bounce back.
I mean, did Jen go 0-4 as well? Was I hearing that right?
Yeah, DeGen went 0-4. He didn't come on Friday to give his picks. Only you
Yeah,
did,
no,
and
totally.
so that's what they got tracked on stream. But DeGen,
Yeah, man. I mean, I think yesterday was the worst betting day I've had all year. Like, brutal stuff. Yeah, but it is what it is. You bounce back. That's why we
bounce back.
That's why we, you have units for a reason. You got plenty in the chamber, and I'm not going anywhere. But Pete, first thing to talk about right now is there's kind of conflicting reports about Amari Cooper. Adam Schefter put out the tweet that Amari Cooper was not expected to play, and now Kevin Stefanski's come out and said that he is going to play. Which to me, I don't know like who to believe here, because that could be the coach posturing and being like, yeah, Amari Cooper's going to play. And maybe Amari Cooper does play, but he's not 100%. And he kind of is just out there to.
He's like a pawn.
Yeah, a pawn. Right. So I'm not sure, but this like really impacts one of my plays. I'm on Elijah Moore over 3.5 receptions, as well as his over reception yards in a Prize Picks entry. But the over 3.5 reception, it opened at plus 110. I grabbed it. It then immediately got bought to plus 105. And then now off of this Amari Cooper news, it's at plus 125. So I see a ton of value just based on the fact that I don't think that even if Amari Cooper plays, he's going to be 100%. But I also believe that this offense really wants to get Elijah Moore involved. I think Elijah Moore is a really talented receiver. And, I was excited for him on the Jets, and they just did not want to use him at all. So I'm glad that he got a shot, and he got 7 targets last week. He only caught 3 of them, but it's clear that Deshaun wants to get Elijah Moore involved. He's definitely a playmaker. So I definitely see value on this at plus 125. I liked it at plus 110, and you're going to love it at plus 125.
Next play.
Sure. Yeah. So Saints Panthers under 39.5. I think it's 39.5. It's not 38.5. Pretty sure, right?
He probably, Producer Coney might have done the accident of the Browns Steelers under.
Cool. Yeah. It's 39.5. Regardless.
It might even be 40.
On
Yeah,
BetMGM,
39.5. 39.5.
Yeah. Did Jen cover this one well? There's not too much more to say, but I think that you've said this too. I think the Panthers are going to have to run the ball in this one in order to score and in order to win the game. So, whether the Panthers score, if the Panthers do score, they're going to have to run the ball, which is going to take up time. But last week, man, Bryce Young the Falcons were getting after Bryce Young. And I think the Saints defensive line can do the same thing. The Saints got after Tannehill. I think they're going to do the same to Bryce Young. I think that, they're going to try to get Bryce Young an easy passes tonight. And again, don't hate this Panthers defense. They were
Colby, you sound like a robot.
I'm lagging on mine.
That just shows you how.
Here, how about this? Colby, if you can hear me.
My back?
You're still super choppy. What we'll do. You good?
I think I'm good now. I closed out a couple things.
Okay, yeah, because you always have 17 Fangraphs tabs because you just got to check out that Red Sox player in low A. Yeah, so continue.
Yeah, I mean, I just think both these defensive lines are pretty good. I think there'll be a lot of sacks, a lot of punts in this game. It's a divisional game. I think that neither offense is really ridiculously good. And I just have a lot of respect for both these defenses. So in a divisional primetime game, it's easy to take an under already, but I respect both. Like both have bad offensive lines and good defensive lines. That's pretty easy analysis. That's what it comes down to for me.
Fair enough. Any other plays? Oh, we got a prize picks entry too, right?
Yeah, we got a prize pick. So I told you how I like Elijah Moore. This moved down, I think, to 38.5 now. So, you can easily pair it with, you can easily do the Bryce Young, though, under with your Donovan Peoples-Jones, if you like that more than Elijah Moore as well. But Bryce Young under, again, this just goes back to the Panthers are going to want to run the ball in this one, keep the game close, keep the ball out of the Saints' hands. And I also think that, the Saints are going to have to get to Bryce Young in this one, and I don't think that he'll have a lot of opportunity to take those deep shots in this one. So yeah, under seems pretty easy to me. I think, what did he have? 146 yards last week. I don't think this is going to be an easy one for Bryce Young.
Fair enough.
Pete, can we talk real quick about some baseball?
Yeah.
Really?
How many more minutes do we got until Nick?
Literally 1 minute, and I will be off. But holy crap, is my butt going to be clenched at every single one of these Red Sox last 11 games. I have 10 units on their over 77.5 win total. And they need to go 4-7 in their last 11 games for that to cash. They're 2-8 in their last 10. They can't win an extra inning game. And my butt is going to be clenched. They play the Rangers for 3, the White Sox for 3. Then they get the Rays for 2 and the Orioles for 3. Like, it is tough out here, man. I need to win at least one of these Rangers games, and then hopefully 2 against the White Sox, and then hopefully just 1 more on the table. But God, is it going to be scary.
So if you get 4 wins, you cash, is what you're saying?
Cash.
I think you'll get there. But I mean, Colby Olson will bet on Boston teams till the day he dies. And you went 0-4 on stream, but the reason it was a bad day is because you bet the Patriots in every which way, just like you will every week. And like I was texting you, I was like, Gino is out in the open. I'm betting on the 49ers every week. I know it's my team I would have bet. And Colby's like, I don't know if I'm that biased. Bets on every Boston. Who'd you have winning the finals? And you're like, well, the Celtics were good value. They got to. You are betting Boston teams no matter what. Admit it. On stream right now, you are going to bet Patriots every week. You're going to bet the Red Sox every win total every year. Celtics over whatever every year. Just that's who you are.
I didn't bet the Patriots win total. I mean, the Celtics last year, I really thought was a great play at plus 600.
It was a great play. Did it hit? You know, it was a great play. Francisco Lindor plus 3,000 with MVP. He's going to finish 5th. Yeah, it was a great bet. Got value on it. Did it hit? No.
Oh, all right. Screw you. I'm out of here.
Just admit it. All you got to do is admit it.
I admit it for the Patriots and the Red Sox.
Just get out of here. Bring on Nick. Get out of here. We know what it is. We know.
All right. I'm a Boston super fan, and I love my team, and I'm going to bet on them every week.
There you go.
All right.
There you go. At least now we know. We'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good value.
Real quick, after Nick is supposed to be on, you can't come on until later now.
After Nick, it's supposed to be Army. Can't come on until later now. Or I'm sorry, kid. Yeah, I can't do that. I got my girlfriend's birthday is today. We're going to Omakase.
I'm saying that we have a 10-minute gap until Jake.
Let's just get to Nick. And then we'll deal with it when the time comes. Nick, how are you?
I'm doing great, Peter. How are you?
Good to see you back. I was asking for you in the chat.
I know it was funny. I feel like there's like some telekinesis. It's like every time that you're like, "Hey, Nick, you coming on?" I'm like actively doing research. I was betting baseball over the last couple of days, trying to get back into it. Want to pull that record back up into the green before the end of the year. That's the goal.
Let's do it, my friend. Play number 1.
So play number 1. I saw Matt was on a similar play. Give me the under in the White Sox and Nationals game. I think he was on the first 5 under. I've got the full game under for basically the same reasons. So Clevenger been pitching pretty well for Chicago. I mean, he has like a blow up start here, blow up start there. He gives up 6 runs, 8 runs, that kind of thing. I actually think that kind of pitcher is like a better type of pitcher to bet an under on than a guy who consistently gives up 3 runs or 4 runs. Because we're betting median outcomes, not mean outcomes. So Clevenger is going to give up 1-2 runs 65% of the time. And Adone pitching for the Nats, I guess it's kind of the opposite, just like consistently mid. But both these offenses also are not very good. I think actually the bottom 2 offenses, I have all my Fangraphs tabs closed. I think when Colby closed his, mine closed too. But I think that these are like the worst 2 teams in the league against righties over the last month, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. Yeah. And then I went full game, not first 5, because the bullpens are both fine. So just give me more time. Like they're not good.
Scary.
They're not good, but they're not like bottom of the barrel.
True. Yeah. The White Sox bullpen.
I think they were both like middle 10 in the league in FIP in the month of September.
Okay. No, it's good enough. I like the play. I think it's going to go under the first 5. And then, right, if it's a 2-1 game through 5, 3-1 game through 5, like the bullpens aren't very good, right? They might give up 2 runs each, but then that's 8 runs.
Yep.
I think it's a good.
Yeah.
I
think we're chilling either way.
Good shit. Let's move on to play number 2.
All right, play number 2. Fade of Adam Wainwright. Need I say more?
Nope.
I mean, he's been, I guess, maybe like a little bit better recently. Had like
trying to get to 200.
Only giving up 1 or 2
God
runs.
coming down and being like, we owe this one to Wayno.
Yeah, I think I hope it happens in his next start, his last start at home. That would be cool for the stories. But yeah, today against the Brewers team, I don't know. Peralta's also pitching well. A couple guys on the Cardinals have hit him pretty well, but not recently. His 1 start against the Cardinals at the beginning of the year was quite good. So I trust Peralta. Was thinking about just taking a Brewers team total, but didn't like the juice. So we're going run line here.
More than fair. Let's keep moving. What else we got? Like prospects entry.
Yeah. So we have 3 NFL plays. I tried to find one from every game. I couldn't find anything, or one for every team. Sorry. Couldn't find anything on the Browns that I like, just because of all of the confusion around Amari Cooper. I feel like Cooper in, Cooper out is like a big part of the handicap that a lot of people have on their plays in this Browns and Steelers game. But without knowing, I think it's tough. And for the record, DPJ is a guy that was on my radar. I was saying earlier, DPJ was like a wagon for me last year. My model always spits out DPJ over yards. I think I bet his over yards like 7 or 8 times last year.
There we go. We love that.
He just hits, right? Because they put his number at and today is like especially low, but last year it'd be like 39.5 yards every single week. And
that's why I said, I was
50,
like, this
60.
is an overreaction to him getting 12. He should not be at 30.5.
Yeah, I completely agree. But so what I've got today, I have the same Jamal Williams prop that a couple of the people are on. I think Degen was on that, which I love to see. I think Matt was on that, which I love to see. Somebody asked a question, why the yards and not the attempts? So I won't pitch the yards because it's been pitched a couple times. But why yards and not attempts, for me at least, is the fact that so if it attempts at 15.5, if he's going to have 16 plus carries and go under this, he's averaging like 3.7 yards per carry. So you're basically betting, do you think he goes over 3.7 yards per carry? Do you think he goes under 3.7 yards per carry? And I think that the over on that is a pretty good look. Falcons averaged 5 yards per carry against the Panthers on the ground last week. Jamal Williams is a guy who's historically been over that number. I think the volume is going to be there. I don't think the carries is a bad bet at all. But I think it's going to be pretty tough for the carries to hit and the yards to miss.
Good. I love that, because people always ask whenever you give something, it's like, why not this?
Yeah. And I think it's a very smart question to ask.
Yeah. No, I agree, because it's like, well, if you like the yards, do you like the catches? Do you like this way? Do you like this way?
It's a very similar thing, like with quarterbacks, with attempts and completions. Like why attempts, why completions, why yards?
Couldn't agree with you more. And then we got a couple more legs. Yeah.
So a couple more legs. We got George Pickens over 42.5 receiving yards. This is just because Deontay Johnson is out. I think that Pickett and Pickens are gonna connect here. Johnson always gets a ton of targets. I think Pickens is the for sure number 1 guy in the passing attack for Pittsburgh in this game. I've seen some people on Calvin Austin. I've seen some people on Freiermuth. I've seen some people on Allen Robinson. But I think just talking relatively about their yards, give me Pickens at 42.5 as opposed to any of those guys in like the high 20s or the 30s. I just think like relative to their talents, relative to the volume, Pickett sets the best number.
I like it.
And then the last one. This is a weird one. So this is a Prize Picks square. I didn't know that this existed until I was looking at Prize Picks. But we're taking Bryce Young under 6.5 completions in his first 10 passing attempts. So this is basically a bet against Bryce Young being efficient in the passing game. Early, yeah. So I was looking at him. I think he went under this in his first game. Both of the rookie quarterbacks that started yesterday went under this number in start number 2. So it's not like, okay, they've got their feet wet, now they're going to come out and ball out. I think Richardson finished the game 6 for 10. CJ Stroud also went 6 for 10 in his first 10. And then Bryce Young, very inefficient passer, had what, like 50% completion percentage last week. Saints played Ryan Tannehill, who's also not the most efficient passer last week, but he was also like at 50% over the course of the game. So I think 7 for 10 to start the game for Bryce Young, especially with the kind of mediocre receiving options that the Panthers have and the great Saints secondary. I think just give me Bryce Young to be inefficient, and this is the way that I can bet that.
I guess my only issue with this one is, and it makes sense actually, it's not like I'd fade it. I guess my only critique about it would be, do you think early on, in order to get him some confidence, it's a lot of easy looks, a lot of screen plays, a lot of, quick outs, quick slants, stuff like that?
Potentially. And of course, like
bets could lose. Like, I agree.
In football, like you have the scripted drive basically to start out the game, right? But like we've seen it with rookie quarterbacks this year, with Anthony Richardson, with CJ Stroud, and with Bryce Young last week. Like, of course, I was thinking the same thing, but like everybody's going under this number, all of the young QBs, every start.
That's more than fair. And like,
and again, if it loses, it loses. Sure.
Yeah. No, but that's a good point. It's a good point. It's like using historical data. I pointed out, like, what if he completes all 10 of his passes? What are you going to do? Like, that's not a good question. It's not a good question.
Yeah. I think actually maybe a better way to do some research on this, which I didn't do, is to look at like every rolling 10 pass window.
Because like to hit this, he has to have a 70% completion percentage in his first 10 passes.
Yeah, and you just
take
like
easy.
any random 10 passes in a row that he throws. How often does he hit 70%?
It's a good point.
I think it's pretty low.
Good shit, Nick. Glad to have you back on stream.
Yeah, we'll check out the MLB board tomorrow and see how we do. I can't hit the green even if I sweep MLB today. So
we'll just keep
we'll probably be back.
We still got 11 games left. Appreciate you, Nick. We'll talk to you.
See ya.
Good question in the chat. Peter, any concern about Chuba Hubbard bumping down to 33.5? If bumps went 100%, I would be concerned, but no, not particularly. CJ Stroud went from 216 to 207.5 by game time, and everything that I was asked was, well, now you can't take Stroud now, right? Bump. He had 384. A lot of people like the under. They like the Saints pass, or they like the Saints run defense. They don't think he's going to go over. That's normally what happens to bumps. I think he goes over. No, I'm not concerned even a little bit. Could it not hit? Of course. It's betting. But am I concerned about a 2-yard bump down? No. Because then you could flip it around and say, well, Donovan Peoples-Jones got bumped from 30.5 to 34. Is that a lock? No. Right? Just got bumped. Bumps happen all the time. I think people personally read too much into it. Right? We talk about CLV all the time. You want to beat the closing number. Sometimes you don't. Right? Patriots are +3, closed at 1.5. Sharpest play of the millennium. They lost by 7. Shit happens. I like the play. I think it's set up nicely for Chuba to go over 35.5. That's I hope that answers your question. But no, not even a little bit. Did you say a lean in the Steelers game? Yeah, I lean the Browns. Really have no thoughts on the total. But again, I didn't bet the Browns. But that would be my lean. But again, I always want to make clear, when I looked at the board, my favorite play was the Panthers and those 2 props. I liked the Browns, didn't bet them, didn't feel like I had enough of an edge. Don't want to go against Tomlin at home. Off the bounce back to Jen, brought up a great trend. Teams lose in week 1 by 20+. In week 2, they're 62% against the spread. A lot of trends pointing you to the Steelers. A lot of football knowledge pointing to the Browns. It's tough. I didn't bet the Steelers, but if you put a gun to my head, I would bet the Browns. That's where I'm at there. But didn't bet it. Jake can make it in 2 minutes. We might just have to flash Cali wagers and arms plays after. Let's do arms right now. Unfortunately, sorry, I gotta bounce. White Sox first 5. He is fading Yohan Adone. He's got 1.8 units at plus 110. Pretty sizable wager for Arm. Can you also flash the leaderboard and remind people that Aram has been pretty dang good? Where is he sitting right now? Aram is at plus 1.01 units. So he's fallen a little bit from his he was up a little over 3, but he's still well within the green. Taking the plus price on the White Sox. Mets first 5 money line. Who's pitching for the Jose Budo versus Edward Cabrera? He is a Marlins fan, and he's fading Edward Cabrera. He'd probably have some good insight there. Plus price, I think this is a good spot. Minnesota first 5. Joe Ryan against Connor Phillips. I know Arm well. He is fading Connor Phillips. That is the bulk of this bet. He is fading the hell out of Connor Phillips. Connor Phillips is a young pitcher. Arm is a wizard when it comes to young players. First-time chatter. Steelers Brown line seems weird after what happened in week 1. Feel like Brown should be bigger favorites. Yeah, but Mike Tomlin at home is always going to get line respect. But I agree with you. That's why I didn't bet the Browns. Blue Whale Balls, I'm so confused why you're in this. You don't like anybody's plays. You fade everyone. But then you never show slips and people are up. And then you wait for Javon. Newsflash, Javon ain't coming today. So you can dip. Kind of pissing me off, Big Whale Balls. Kind of pissing me off. Sometimes I like the bet. Now you're just going overboard. FanDuel boost, Watson and Pickett, 1 passing touchdown thoughts. We ain't never taking boosts. You will never see me on a boost. Big Whale Balls, you don't know who Arm is. You said you were fading him all year long, never saw a slip. He said he'll match you, never saw a slip. Like, you're a fraud. You are a fraud. All right, good. Get out. I don't love football teasers. You may see 1 or 2 for me a year in case I really love something. But if I like a bet, I'm just taking them. I don't need extra points. Spreads, I think, in football, everyone thinks it's the gospel. Like, oh, it's going to land on 3. It's going to land on 3. More often than not, it doesn't land close to what the spread is. I'm not a big fan of teasers. Big Whale Balls, skull. That's consistent. Just, you're deflecting. You're a fraud. Jake Hazen is not a fraud. Let's welcome him on. What's up, brother?
Dude, why can't I buy a win on this fucking stream, Peter?
I don't know. You tell me. It's your picks.
I don't know what it is, dude. It's on me, but like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing different on here, dude? I think I'm not coming on with the fat ass dogs on here. That's my issue.
Could be that.
I think it's that. It's got to be that.
Do you have any fat ass dogs on the card today?
No, not fat dogs. We got 1 dog and 1 fave. I mean, this MLB board stunk, man. Did you find anything you liked on it?
No. I mean, I didn't. I taken a week break, so I didn't really dive in at all. Big Whale Balls, I thought you said you were leaving.
Leaving for what?
Big Whale Ball said, "Oh, Javon's not here, so he hates everybody's picks, but he's still here, just talking."
Big Whale Balls, I got 2 fucking locks for you right here, buddy.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. So NFL, this is easily my worst sport, and it's not close. I'll be the first one to admit it. I'm 5-10, like minus 3 units right now in the NFL. So let's try to turn it around a little bit. My goal this season is literally just not to be down money. If I'm down like a unit or like up like a unit, I'm fucking happy.
Let's go.
So first off, I'm gonna talk about the Panthers here first because they kind of correlate.
Okay.
So the Panthers, I mean, I'm assuming how many Panthers pitches we have on stream?
You and I are the first 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I thought it would be a lot more popular on here. That's kind of surprising to me. But
no,
like I said, I mean, this is like, my mindset is, and this, you can call it whatever you want. I think the favorites and the dogs split today. They go 1-1. And I'm looking at the dog that's like, what's more nasty? Like Mike Tomlin at home plus money. Granted, I'm not going to say the Steelers are public, but like that's kind of more enticing of a favorite to take. Meanwhile, the Panthers, Bryce Young looking like just, dude, he's small, bro. Like, Kyler Murray's bigger than him. Like,
Yeah. He's thicker. I don't know if he's taller.
dude, you never seen them stand side by side?
Is Kyler taller?
Dude, like 2 inches. I'll send you the picture after this. It's
Yeah, send me the picture.
It's a narrative picture, dude. I'm gonna
producer code. Can you go on Google and just search Bryce Young and Kyler Murray standing next to each other? See if we can just pull it up. Continue, Jake.
I'm gonna be spamming that picture tonight. If the Panthers look like shit, it's my narrative to push it right there. But back to what I was saying. So they're the more nasty dog, and I can't come on here in baseball and give you like reason, like actual sport reasoning in this. College football, I kind of came. NFL, I can't. I don't follow it quite as much due to me spamming homework every Sunday the last 4 years. So, yeah, this is just a more nasty dog in my opinion. And I think if the public is going to take one fave tonight, and we take one dog tonight, it's going to be the Steelers, and that's why I'm also on the Browns. Is that I think these dogs and faves split, and I'm more willing to take the road fave on the Browns, who are going against Mike Tomlin, which is a lot of things point to the Steelers tonight, which is kind of makes me want to fade them, which doesn't really make sense. Like I said, I don't really know ball in the NFL, guys. My pitches in here are going to be really shitty, and I'm going to be the first one to admit it. But I'm going to throw some fucking darts, Peter, and hopefully I win, man.
Hey, I hope the Panthers hit. And I agree. I like both of these plays. I do. I took the Panthers and I lean the Browns.
You think the same thing? They split?
I agree. I don't think both win, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if both win. Because at the same time, like everyone's, that narrative of I think people would take the Steelers. The splits are saying that like it's more than the Panthers. It's not that much more.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I'm
literally
not really...
nobody's taking the Panthers, but like the Panthers is 15 to 18%. Steelers is still 30. So it's like still 70-30 Browns.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a guy who really looks into splits, but like I can tell you one thing right now: there's no fucking chance that
you got it for the NFL.
No, I know. Like
because the splits are so huge.
No, how I look at it, Peter, is that I just kind of look at a line and I can just I use my line reading ability. Like that's going to be public, that's going to be contrarian. I don't really look at the splits. That's how I've been betting, and it's been kind of working. I mean, in college football it has, NFL no, but I don't really know NFL, so that's why. But I'm not by no means am saying that the Steelers are the public dog tonight, but like there's a lot.
You're saying if a guy is trying to be sharp, he's taking the Steelers over taking the Panthers.
There's a way bigger liability on the Saints than the Steelers. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
So, yeah, Peter, that's about it. Like I said, not really no shit on here. I can't wait, even though it's not counting and not tracking.
Don't you have MLB plays?
Dude, no, the sport sucks today, brother. But even though it's not counting towards the tracking, I cannot wait to come on here during football season and pitch some fucking baseball plays for playoffs, dude. So fucking hyped for that.
I'm the same way. I
can't wait for the Mariners not to make the playoffs. Peter, I should have fucking hedged, dog. They haven't won a game since we talked.
I know. They got big brothered by the Dodgers. I watched every out of that series. That was
you waste a Bryce Miller masterclass like that. You can't do that, dude. You got to get one of those games in fucking Gavinstone. But we got the A's today, who are low-key kind of spoiler, and I'm horrified. I think the A's might end their season right here. I'm not even kidding.
I hope not.
Well, they have a 7-game series with 7 games left with the Rangers, so that's really all that matters.
I do think they're going to bounce back, and I think they'll take 4 of 3 from the Rangers, or maybe even 5 and 2. But if they get pieced by the Rangers, then say goodnight.
Yeah, I think as long as they're a game and a half between the Rangers, none of it matters. Just win those series and you're good.
I'm still sweating over 87.5.
Dude, it got sweaty. I thought it was a fucking guarantee for a bit.
I know.
They just forgot.
They have to beat the A's.
Dude, it's their young arms are hitting their innings limit. Like Kirby hit his innings limit, dude. He has not looked the same. Like he hit his innings limit. His arm's dead. Like Bryce Miller really hasn't, but like all these other guys are like Gilbert, like he didn't pitch as many innings last year, no?
Gilbert's fine.
Actually.
Gilbert's fine. It's the Kirbys, it's the Millers, it's the Woos.
Bryce Miller, I mean, he's taken some stints in the IL. So
no, but he's still getting there. Yeah. No,
Kirby is maxed out, dude. He is not the same. You could say all you want, like, oh, he's due for aggression. No, dude, his arm's just cooked. I mean, it's no coincidence he started looking bad when he started hitting his innings limit. Like and it sucks because he's just not. I mean, he's still that guy, but like his arm's just dead, man. He's walked like 5 guys the last 2 games. Like that's just not regression. That's just his arm being dead. That's crazy.
Couldn't agree with you more. Jake Hazen.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, my friend. Shit. Browns and Panthers. One of them's going to hit at least.
Yeah, I think the smart, educated play by listening to me is you take the Saints. You take the Browns. No, other way around. Fuck. You take the Panthers money line and take the Steelers money line, and you split and make money.
I think so.
But I'm just a fucking risky bastard, and I just want to try to go 2-0, baby.
I agree. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Good stuff.
Peace.
We got to show Kelly Wagers plays. He wants us to show.
Yeah, we'll show Cali Wagers plays for sure.
Baseball.
Yeah, we'll start with baseball for Cali Wagers. He's riding with the Astros. Let me look at the pitching matchup real quick. Astros with Verlander against John Means. I don't mind this one at all. We know how prolific the Astros offense is against lefties. Means did okay in his first outing, right? He's got 5 innings, didn't strike out anybody, gave up a couple of home runs against Verlander at home. This is really expensive for the Astros, though. But at the same time, he's getting a plus price on the -1.5. It's a tough one. But then again, Cali Wager's been hot. So just put that in your back pocket.
He wants us to mention that he went 8-0 on his
8-0 on his
card.
card on Sunday. KBO. And also hit Army plus 275. Like I said, guy is hot. And he's going with the Panthers money line. We love to see it. We absolutely love to see it, Callie. If you can hear me and you're watching, we love to see it. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for the show. I got a bounce. Shorter one today. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, like we always are. But we have to remember, it's not gambling advice. Saints may be a Mega Max. We'll see you after the game, and we'll see if you still believe that. Talk to you. Peace.